Hello, welcome to Book Obsession. I'm Ashley Gunn. I have previously done a book review on the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series, but at the time, Crimson Death wasn't out. Now it is, and I've read it and wanted to do a review on it so that you guys have a good idea of what it is. So, for me personally, I would say that this book focuses on two things. One is the second triumvirate. So, Nathaniel, Damien, and Anita. They are going to, obviously reference Jean-Claude and Richard because a lot of it's going to be comparing this to that, There's going to be a lot of talk about Damien. It's going to be a lot about his past, what he's gone through, his relationships right now, what he wants in his life, and what he's been through. Personally, very vampire heavy, in my opinion, especially because, the big bad in this book is going to be a vampire. Edward calls Anita because all of a sudden there are these deaths happening in Ireland. It's really unfortunate because not only are there vampire deaths happening, it seems like they're not following the rules. By that I mean, we all know vampires don't go after children and those types of things, and in this case they seem to be doing that. And not only that, but they seem to be doing things that are really out of the ordinary and weird, quite frankly. Anita decides that she's going to go over there, and that is the woman who made Damien. And if you know anything about Damien, which you should through the previous books, this is what's tortured him. And so the fact that this is happening really is stressful for everybody. The fact that he's going to be back on the same continent as her, and the possibility of her getting her hands on him again. So and not only him, but then Nathaniel and Anita does love them. They do talk a lot about the weddings, which I really liked, because if you're going to have 5 lovers, why not marry them all, And so I did like the fact that they talked about the weddings and didn't just leave that all out in the background. They do talk to Micah on the phone because he's actually off on some council business. So Nathaniel's obviously a shapeshifter. She's going to bring a lot of leopards and lions and tigers up with her to Ireland. At the same time, now we have the rats having a power struggle. So the rats are typically Anita's bodyguards, not only for trips, but just at her home. And all of a sudden now, because she hasn't solidified her relationship with the Rat King, he doesn't want to allow his rats to go and protect her. So you'll definitely still see that happening. You'll definitely see the shapeshifters pulling their weight. On top of that, you're going to have all of this power struggle happening since the Queen of Darkness has died. Or maybe not died, has been absorbed into Anita. Her power has. Then now all of a sudden there's power struggles, because the question is this stuff happening in Ireland because she was controlling that land, controlling the power that vampire had, and now that her power's been absorbed, that there's not all of this craziness happening because Anita didn't know what she was doing. And I don't mean that in a mean way. That's a legitimate question. The legitimate question is, now she has this power, and there seems to be other issues happening. Some people's powers are being taken away. Nathaniel gets this huge power boost. So you have kind of both things. Quite frankly, I wish that Nathaniel's power was maybe a little bit more useful in the book, because it happens one really big time and then kind of goes away. And I wish that would happen more often. Damien, definitely, his personality shifts and changes now that his triumvirate is complete, and you're going to definitely see that. Altogether, loved the book. Absolutely loved the book. Quite frankly, I was really excited because it's been a while since I've read an Anita Blake book, so it felt like home. It felt like exactly what I wanted it to be, what I expected it to be. Huge, amazing fight scenes once they get towards the end of the book in Ireland. Incredible. And again, these vampires are going to have completely different powers and stuff like that, different situations, because you're talking about a new master vampire, and with each master vampire comes their own special powers. So, and this one seems to be off her rocker, just doing whatever she can for attention, and so you're definitely going to be in for a treat watching it. I absolutely loved it. So anyways, absolutely recommend it. Hands down recommend it. I'd recommend the whole series. I love the Anita Blake series. And I would definitely be reading the next one in the future. It's unique and incredibly satisfying when you read it. Anyways, that's the Anita Blake series by Laurell K. Hamilton. This is the most recent, and I'm assuming it'll be a year or so before we get another one. But so if you want this book or any of her books, I always put the author's website as the first website in my description. So anyway, she makes books available, and all the books she makes available will be the very first link. So if you want it, go ahead and click there. Otherwise, if you like this video, go ahead and like it. If you have any questions or comments, or maybe even a recommendation for a future book, go ahead and put that in the comments section. And if you want my books every week, subscribe. Thank you all for joining me.